everyone, this is the Beeve coming at you again with another video. I've been working on this Mag Necromancer for a while now, and I think I finally got it to where I like it, and I kind of wanted to share with everyone. The gear that I have on here is not going to be considered meta or best in slot in any way, shape, or form, at least not that I'm aware of, and I'm kind of just, I'm making these videos trying to not really follow what's in best in slot or what is meta, and just trying to help people, get good numbers with easy sustainability, and I do believe I've had this right here with this particular Magica Necromancer right now. I am consistently hitting over 40k with it, and I think I have it where I like it for the most part. Going over gear real quick, we are using, first off, a Maelstrom Lightning Staff. This is out of a Veteran Maelstrom Arena. Obviously, this is a little bit of a pain to get your hands on. If you don't have it, you can always just get the Lightning Staff from the other set that you're using and still get really good damage output on this. The other set that I am using is the, Head and Shoulders. I'm using Zon. They the head is from Vet Scale Color Peak, completing that on Veteran, and the shoulders come from the DLC Undaunted Orc Lady. That's where you can get the shoulders to match this. So right now I do not have these golded out because I've been messing around with different things and whatnot, and I hadn't golded this out, and I hadn't really changed any of my traits on my other stuff as well. I am using Soria. This is a little bit of a pain to get. You do have to run Cloud Rest for this. Cloud Rest, if you have the right group, is a very easy, especially if you do it on +0, where you're just killing each boss individually. You get a lot more drops that way, and you have the ability to pick this up. Now, this isn't perfected, so I didn't get this out of, Veteran. This was just picked out of normal Cloud Rest. The traits on it are 129 spell damage, Minor Slayer, 1096 maximum magicka, and dealing direct damage with a single target ability creates a ring of fire beneath you for 10 seconds. This effect can occur once every 10 seconds. Standing in the ring grants you a stack of Soria's Boon for 5 seconds. Each stack increasing your spell damage by 30% or 30 points, and it stacks 20 times. So if you get this up to max stacks, it is 600 spell damage. So good bit of spell damage from this. Standing in the boon isn't always the greatest isn't always the easiest thing to do. Sometimes it will fall off, but it's still got really good traits to it other than that. So it's still a good choice. The other set I am wearing is going to be my Spell Strategist. This you can find this in your coffers from doing Cyrodiil or Battleground things. I'm sure a lot of you have ran across it after doing this Imperial City event that's been going on right now. You have the ability to pick these up in all your coffers. If you haven't ran across much of this stuff, you can buy it in traders as well. So you'll pay some gold for it, and your lightning staff is going to be the most expensive thing you buy. But the body pieces you can normally get for a pretty fair price, in my opinion. Now, I am running an infused lightning staff with shock damage. And on my Maelstrom staff, I'm running infused with increased weapon and spell damage by 452 for 5 seconds. I don't have the traits that I would like on this, because like I said, I've been experimenting a lot. So I would like to have a lot of this stuff to be more of the Divine's trait. And I literally only have one that's in Divine at the moment. It's my Breeches. So everything else is infused, and I even do have one that is reinforced. So I need to farm some different gear or just start transmuting what I do have, because I'd like to have a lot more in Divines. My jewelry, I do have spell damage on all three. 2 are arcane, 1 is bloodthirsty. The reason one is Bloodthirsty at the moment is because when I first got this stuff and I was trying it on a different tune, I was experimenting a little bit with it. Now I wish I wouldn't have put the Bloodthirsty on it and I'd have left the Arcane, but it is what it is. It's there and it's doing damage. So the Spell Strategist set, 1096 maximum magicka, 129 spell damage, 129 spell damage. When you deal damage with a light attack, you place a mark over your target for 5 seconds, granting you 500 spell damage against that marked target. This effect can happen every 4 seconds. Now I'm backbarring this, so I don't have 5 pieces of my front bar. So this does fall off and doesn't stay up 100% of the time, but it's probably up 80% of the time, and it's up when I need it the most. So you'll see that it stays up a good bit, and my damage output is really good with it as well. So champion points real quick. 51 Elfborn, 49 Elemental Expert, and 30 Spell Erosion. 19 Staff Expert, 40 Master at Arms, and 81 Thaumaturge. The red and green trees, those are to your liking. The only thing that I would say in your green tree, you would definitely want to use the Tenacity. I have this at 75 points for 14% more magicka from my fully charged heavy attacks, because we are using Bloody Mara, which provides a lot of max magicka and a lot of max health, but it does not provide any recovery. So when we look at our character sheet itself, 37,500 magicka, 37,500 magicka, only a 688 recovery. So that is it's low. I mean, granted, that is a low recovery. Now we got some passives as being a necromancer that helps improve that. We have our magicka pots that are going to help improve that, and we're going to have our heavy attacks that are providing us with magicka as well. So when this rotation is done right, you don't have any problem with magicka sustain. Now, 2,373 spell damage and 42% spell critical on my Maelstrom bar. When I'm on my spell strat bar, which I spend the most time, 2502 with the same spell critical rating. So I do get a little bit more spell damage on my back bar, and I'm staying on my back bar longer than anything else. You'll see that in the rotation. Now, skill-wise, on my Maelstrom bar, I am using Unstable Wall. This is at rank 1 at the moment because I just realized that I was on Blockade with this, so I just switched it. So I need to rank this up. I got my Unraveling Boneyard. This does 1,900 damage, or 19,000 damage over 10 seconds. But as you see here, when you consume a corpse, it deals 50% more damage. So you have to be good with your corpse placements and be able to get max damage out of this. Plus it provides spell and physical resistance debuffs to anything that's inside of it. Major Breach and Major Fracture, which is the same thing a tank applies when he uses his Pierce Armor. I keep it this way because it's nice utility to help the tank in dungeons and trash mobs. Instead of like pulling everything in and trying to stick it and then pull something in and then sticking it to keep aggro on everything and break their health bars, he can just pull them into the Boneyard and we're melting it down real quick because my Boneyard is debuffing them, thus saving him some stamina in the long run and making him not have to work, him or her, not have to work too hard. Also, there is a synergy to it. If it's hit, it does 12,648 damage to the enemies in the area, and it heals me for the damage done. So anytime somebody hits that synergy, I get a heal from it. So that's pretty cool. I'm using Consuming Trap, 23,000 over 10 seconds. And once you get this ranked up, it starts actually restoring more magicka health and stamina as well. So just got this put on not too long ago as well, because like I said, I've been experimenting. I keep Necrotic Potency on this front bar as well. This is just to suck up the dead corpses and provide myself with extra ultimate running room to room, so I always have ultimates at my disposal. I keep Inner Light on the front bar and the back bar for the Max Magicka and the Major Prophecy spell critical rating. I am running Glacier Colossus. This is 10,451 frost damage with each smash. The last smash stuns all enemies hit for 4 seconds, and applies major vulnerability to everything each smash for 3 seconds. So you get a major vulnerability buff for about 5.1 seconds. This stays up for, so a lot of damage real quick in that 5 seconds too. It's crazy. Back bar, I am using Stalking Blastbone, which hits for 14,000. Even though the further away you are, the more damage it does. I do not suggest trying to fight at range with this, because the longer that Blastbones has to travel, the more delay you're going to have in being able to put another Blastbone out, and that's kind of important with this rotation. Skeletal Arcanist, not ranked up all the way, but he does 5,200 in shock damage, and it ends up being an AoE to all the targets in a 4-meter radius around what he hits. So it's a good damage, and it is good AoE damage as well. So really nice with that. Mystic Siphon. This is probably my favorite ability. 23,800 damage over 12 seconds. Restores 1,260 magicka over 12 seconds, so about 100 magicka per second. And while slotted, your damage done is increased by 3%. And the great thing about this is it has no cast cost. As long as there is a corpse on the ground, you can put out your Mystic Siphon. I look for this to be changed real quickly in the next patches, honestly, because that's too much damage and too many nice effects for it to not have a cost to it. But we'll see what happens. I have my Boneyard on my back bar again right here. I'm not doing anything with it back here. This is kind of a flex slot. If you want to put something else here, you can. My suggestion would probably be Channeled Acceleration from the Psijic line, so you have Minor Force up your whole time when you're fighting, getting that extra 10% damage done, critical damage done. You could even slot Beast Trap here if you wanted to. I did it. It didn't parse any differently because I had, adding in an extra ability had things falling off, and I was, leaving gaps in DPS because of it. But with that Channeled Acceleration, I think you'd leave less gaps, honestly. Now, I do have my Inner Light on the back bar as well, and my Glacier Colossus on the back bar as well. Now, the reason I have this, I'm sticking with the Boneyard here, is because of the passive here in Gravelord, where for every Gravelord ability you have slotted, you get 10% more spell critical, or, critical, strike chance to enemies that are in the execute phase. So, with that back there, I am getting a 50% bonus, and with that 42% bonus I already have, that's 92% chance for a critical strike while I'm on this back bar, while the boss is in execute phase. So it's a built-in execute for the most part, and it's really nice. Also, we use the Skeletal Arcanist, and we keep him up 100% of the time. For our Gravelord Dismember here, you increase your physical and spell resistance by 1,500 while you have a Gravelord ability active, which is the Skeletal Arcanist. So while he's active, which we keep him up 100% of the time, we get a bonus spell penetration of 1,500. And 10% more damage done with damage over time effects with Rapid Rod. And reduced cost on your Blastbones, Mage, and Spirit Mender when they die. So it really helps, with magicka recovery, not spending as much because you're getting that reduced cost. Now, also with that skeletal mage out, we are getting 100% or 100 points more magicka and stamina recovery as well. I don't have this ranked up all the way, but when I do, it's going to go up to 200. So helping with helping with magicka recovery also. Rotation on this is very simple. I am doing Unstable Wall, light attack, Unraveling Boneyard, light attack, Consuming Trap, bar swap, light attack, Skeletal Arcanist, light attack, Stalking Blastbones, I'm doing a fully charged heavy attack after that. Then I'm going to do a light attack Stalking Blast Bones, light attack Mystic Siphon. I'm going to bar swap and start over. Now the reasoning behind that is when I call out my first Stalking Blast Bones, I'm going to do that fully charged heavy attack. I'm going to give him time to animate, come through, and hit the boss, and then hit his target. And then I'm going to call out another Skeletal Arcanist, or another Skeletal Blast Bone, Stalking Blast Bone, and while he's animating himself, I'm going to use my Mystic Siphon. So the Blast Bone that already blew up that's on the boss, I'm going to use for my Mystic Siphon. And then that next Blast Bone is going to go over, hit the boss, and hit its target and blow up. And then when I'm going to do my bar swap, and there's going to be a corpse on the ground for my Unraveling Boneyard as well. So I'm getting that 50% more damage from this. So I'm utilizing my corpses to be able to give me my max damage output. So I think that's really all I really need to go over. So with that being said, let's go ahead and parse this out real quick so you can see exactly what it does. Now I always go in to any battle with my Skeletal Arcanist out and ready to go, and a Stalking Blast Bones called out as we're running in. So that way that Blast Bones is going to run to its target, it's going to hit it, and it's going to leave that corpse on the ground for your first Boneyard, so that you're getting that bonus all the time. So call these both out, and we're going to start our rotation. I have a pretty solid rotation here, command of my rotation, so it really helps. It really helps with getting all these things out and getting them all put down and being able to reapply things before they fall off. It may take you 10 or 15 times before you get into the habit of doing it correctly, but trust me, it's worth doing it. I'm going to call out my ultimate at about 1,000,000 health left. My next rotation through is when I'm going to call my ultimate out here. And there we go. 46,252, and that's been pretty static right there. I can go through and show you what I've been pulling on this right here. 46,000 on that one, 45,000 on one before, 47,000 here. This one, I had some mess ups in my rotation. 44,000, 45,000, 44,000. This 41,000, I didn't drop an ultimate, so it is hitting tremendously well. And 46,000, 45,000, 44,000, even the 41,000, all of those are more than enough damage to get through any veteran dungeon content in this game very easily. You're gonna do very well in trials and things as well. Now, trials are a different story, but in the grand scheme of things, if you're doing 40 plus K DPS, you're not going to get kicked out of any groups, I promise you that, as long as you're not dying all the time, obviously. This build has very good self-sustain with the heavy attacks, so that you don't have to rely on a healer throwing you shards, bubbles all the time. And in some of the longer boss fights, I think your recovery is still going to do just fine. You may find yourself, as long as you're hitting pots, being good. Every now and again, if you're in trials or in Bloodroot Forge, where a boss has 10 million health, you may find yourself looking or asking for a shard or bubble every now and again, but you won't have to depend on it to be there constantly. So that's what I'm going for. I'm trying to find things that are very easy, very static, and gives people the ability to do plenty of damage in a good rotation with the ability to sustain themselves in the long run. So I think that's all I got for you guys. I'm not going to bore you with any more details. If you have any questions, ask in the comments below. Get a hold of me on Facebook or the Guild Facebook group, or get a hold of me in on PlayStation itself. But thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for sticking it out. I hope this helps anyone that's been looking to do something with a magic necromancer. This is a really good build. If you haven't tried something like this, give it a try. I think you'll enjoy it. But thank you guys very much. Have a good weekend.